generate these seeds with from dice.
I'm curious if you have any, maybe not necessarily SeedHammer, but if you want to talk about things that you guys are doing, but maybe other projects that are in the same, that are relative to it in the space that you're excited about and that you're keeping your eye on that you think are interesting developments.
So it's SeedHammer relevant, but not particular to SeedHammer. I'm very, very interested in two developments. One is the CODEX 32 standard, or you could call it as it's an encoding format, and the other is Frost. And the reason we're interested in those is that CODEX 32 has built-in support for Schnorr's secret sharing, which is another variant of splitting out your seed or your wallet in separate pieces. And Frost, even though I don't know much about it, I'm not an expert on it, what I think it can do is it can combine the great things about multisig with the great things about Schnorr's in one big package. So you can get the advantages of both these kinds of schemes in one scheme. So those two, I can go deeper if you want, but otherwise those are the two.
I'm not familiar with either of these. I'd like to know more about how this is helpful and where this might give us some advantages.
So CODEX 32 is an alternative way of encoding your seed. So what you usually use are these 12 of 24 words. It's a very, very common way of encoding your seed, but it can be done in other ways. For example, Bitcoin Core doesn't support this bit 39, the word scheme. So Bitcoin Core stores it in a binary format. I'm not that familiar with it, but I just know that they don't support bit 39 for some more or less subtle reasons. The Bitcoin Core developers and developers in that area hasn't really been happy with how bit 39 turned out, or the standard, but everyone else uses it. So that's one way. The other way, made from I think two guys from Blockstream, I think. Anyway, they made this format CODEX 32. It has the same, it looks like what you would see a SegWit address. So a SegWit address starts with the Bitcoin address starts with BC1 and then a long string of lowercase letters and numbers. That's the address format for SegWit addresses, the modern ones, more modern. And they use the same encoding, but with the prefix MC, I think. MC, is it MC? Yeah, MC1 or something. And they encode your seed in that way. So instead of using words picked out from a list of 2048 words, they use the BEC32 alphabet. So it's the same alphabet you use to encode your Bitcoin addresses, they use to encode your seed. And the great thing about their protocol or their scheme is that you can actually hand generate these. They have a whole set of instructions how you can hand generate these seeds with from dice, and do it in an unbiased way. So there's no risk of you picking dice that picks some numbers over others. And you can even go as far as generate a whole Schnorr's secret sharing set, or split your seed in several pieces. And I'll get back to that if you want. But the main case is there's a different way of representing your seed, with an alphabet that is much smaller. So instead of having an alphabet of 2048 words to pick out from, you have only 32 characters. So, and what advantages are with that? Well, to us in SeedHammer, we want to be able to hand generate, make it very, very convenient, very, very easy to hand generate your seeds, manually generate them. And I can also get into why that is very important for us if you want. But the basic idea is that CODEX 32, with its only 32 different options for each position in your seed, is much easier to hand generate. That's something that has 2048 options. So that's one part with CODEX 32. The other part is that it has built-in support for Schnorr's, which, unlike multisig, is a way to take a single seed, a single sig wallet, and split it up in any combination of pieces. So you can have 2 or 3, 3 or 5, you can have 4 or 100 if you want. So it's the same kind of thing as multi-sig, but the main difference is that it's still a single sig when you combine them, so you don't need to store your descriptor, and it takes up less block space. It looks like a single seed, so no one can see on the block space that you're spending from a multi-sig and so on. So it has some advantages, but also some disadvantages. And the main one is that you have to combine all your seeds into one device. You can't use, say, if you have a 2 or 3, you can't use, say, a cold card and a seed signer for the two seeds. So that's what you can't do with Schnorrs. So yeah, that's CODEX 32.